Hey, Summerhill Cinema 700 here, coming at you with my very first movie review of 2018, and that is 1983 film directed by Dick Moss titled The Lift. Now, I'd never seen this movie before, and I watched it, like I just said, for the first time today, and I'll just get straight into it. So, basically, this is the second movie I've watched by director Dick Moss, the first one being Amsterdam, which I'll just put out there right now that I thought was a much better film than this here. However, it does have some interesting things, this film. Now, to start out with the plot, we basically start with with two couples in this hotel where this elevator is, or as they call it in Dutch or whatever it is, the lift. And they're eating at this restaurant. They're drunk, and they leave and they head into the lift, into the elevator, and start to go down. There's lightning hitting the building and whatnot, and they're going down, and then they all start to get super sweaty and they pass out, and like the elevator's getting super hot inside, and one of the couples actually starts to have sex in the elevator. What else do you do, I guess, when you're stuck in an elevator, sweating to death? Have sex, right? There you go. But anyways, that scene it's so dumb. Like, why would you do that? But so we have that, and then basically after that ridiculous scene happens, we meet Felix, who is this man. We meet him and his family, and he's an elevator mechanic, and basically, he finds out about what's happened, and he goes to check on the elevator and inspect it. He finds that there's nothing wrong. I'll just put this down for a second. He finds that there's nothing wrong going on with the elevator, and he tells them, and it's like, well, these people almost died last night. They didn't actually die, but they almost died, and so. I'm not going to go through everything, but basically this entire movie is just him trying to figure out what the hell's going on at the elevator. Now, he ends up this. I'll tell you about the kills in a little bit. I'm not going to go each kill in order, but I'll talk about them near the end, kind of. This reporter lady ends up coming around and hanging around him because she's interested. She wants to get a story for her newspaper that she works for or whatever. So she's hanging around him. And meanwhile, while that's all going down, his wife thinks that he's cheating on her with this woman because his wife's friend sees him with her having coffee, and she tells her, like, "Oh, your husband's cheating on you with this other woman," and it kind of does seem like he does like her. I know she seems like she likes him. Basically, all that's going on, and kind of near the end of the movie, the wife ends up just taking off with the kids and leaving him. And and then at the end of the movie, he's just with that lady. You never really hear, so it's just like at the end of the movie, it's like, okay, his kids and wife are gone. See you later. There's no mention of them like getting back together or anything. But I'm not going to go through too much of like what exactly happens in this movie, because all I can say is that it's about a killer elevator and it keeps killing people off, and they're just trying to figure out what's going on. And this is what the elevator here looks like. And as I said in the first scene where the two couples suffocate in the elevator, after that, the next thing that happens is that there's this blind man who's up in the office, and he's in an office, had an appointment or something. He leaves, elevator opens, and he walks and just falls right down, dead. And then I believe it's one of the guys who works at the office goes out, looks down the elevator, sees that there's a dead body down there. Or no, sorry, that's not what happens. There's these two security guards, and they're working there in the evening, and they're night watch, and they see that the elevator's running. So they're like, "What the hell? There's somebody in this building," because the building's all locked up. They're security, but they see that the elevator's running. Each of the floors is going up. So they're like, "What the hell's going on?" And the elevator opens, and he looks down, he's looking around, he looks down, and he sees the dead guy, who was the blind guy who fell down there. And they're like, "Holy crap, there's a dead body down there, take a look." And another guy looks in or whatever, and then the lift starts to come down, and his head's in there, sorry, and the doors close on his head. And then the lift starts to come down and chops his head right off while his head's inside the elevator. And it's a really cool scene actually, and the effects are done really well. I wouldn't say really well on it, but it's a cool effect. When I was watching on a special feature, actually, they said that they had to do it like 30 times because they wanted the head to drop in a specific position. So when you actually see the head get cut off, you can see that it's a dummy and it's quite beat up. But it's really cool, and then it chops his head off, and the music is like wow wow wow. It's just cool, like synthesizer music. Um, and then what other kills are there other than that? Then this little girl who you see here, her mom is fooling around with this guy who works in an office there, and she's there, and she's kind of, all the elevators keep opening up. There's 3 of them in total, and she's like playing around with them, and then the mother's, while she's fooling around with the guy, hears her scream, runs out, and just sees that her daughter's frightened by something, which is presumably maybe that hand sticking out there, which you don't actually see in the movie. It's kind of deceiving, this photo. And then it like chops the girl, has her doll, and it gets stuck in there or whatever. And hopefully I'm explaining this fairly well. I've got a really bad memory. I mean, I just watched the movie and I'm already like kind of mixing up what happens. But I'm just giving you kind of the basic rundown about what this is without giving away every little bit. Because, it's kind of hard to explain a movie about a killer elevator because it's just so weird. There's not many movies like that, as far as I'm aware. And the only other one that I know of is by the same director, Dick Moss, which came out in the early 2000s, titled Down. And I haven't seen that. I don't know if I'm going to watch it. But anyways, so basically Felix, this whole time, he's just trying to figure out what the hell is going on. And then they meet these people who work for this company. I can't remember what it's called. It's called like Sunrise something. And they're the ones that installed this microchip into the elevator, which Felix and that lady go to this guy, and he's kind of explaining to them how they're coming up with these new technologies that they only need like microscopic little chips to run things. So that's going on, and he's just trying to figure out what is powering this elevator. And the Sunrise company are the ones that put it in there, so they're kind of suspicious about that, him and the reporter lady, and they kind of go and check things out there and ask questions. Meanwhile, Felix's boss gets kind of pissed off that he's going around snooping around that place when they're like, that's one of their companies that they work with. So he's kind of pissed off that Felix and this lady went snooping around there, so he puts him off. He's like, you're taking a work leave or whatever for 4 weeks. And he's like, what the hell? He's like, you're not to go around that elevator, Felix, so I've replaced you. But Felix ends up going there at night into the lift because he wants to figure out what the hell is going on. And he goes in there, and there's all these weird things happening. And he goes inside the shaft, the elevator shaft, and ends up finding this big box, which has like this beating heart. It's like the heart of the elevator. And he's trying to beat it with his hammer, and the lift keeps going up and down and like slamming into him in his back. And he's like super drained out and tired. And it's like keeps smacking him, and he's trying to get out of there. He's beating the heart thing, but it won't break. Then he finally like crawls out, but he can barely get out of the lift. He pries the door open, and then the reporter lady comes and pulls him out. And then the guy walks around the corner from the Sunrise company, or I think it was that guy, and he's got a pistol, and he shoots the box like a few times. And then all of a sudden, we presume that it's probably dead or something now. And then one of the cables inside the elevator shaft shoots out, wraps around his neck, and pulls him in and leaves him hanging there. And then you just see this cool scene actually, where you see the 2 elevators, the left and the right elevator, and then the middle elevator, and he's hanging there. And then Felix and the lady just walk away, and the movie ends there. And it's just kind of like, okay, he has no wife. He has no kids now, they ran away, and, all this shit just for this elevator. I mean, I understand where there was people dying, but it's like, for God's sake, is it really worth it for this elevator? So I kind of just went on kind of randomly there, not necessarily in order, but, like I said, you get the rundown. It's a movie about a killer elevator. it played kind of slow in my opinion because it was just all these people talking about what's going on, what's happening, how can we fix this? Where there as it would have been nice to have seen more action, more kills in this movie. Now the kills that were in this movie, like I said, were done particularly well, especially the scene where the guy gets his head chopped off. That's probably the best scene as far as effects go in this film, and it also has really cool music. Almost has like a Chud-like feeling to the music. If you've seen Amsterdam, it has that kind of sound as well. Now, as I said at the start of this video, if I have to choose between this and Amsterdam, which are both Dick Moss films, I would easily go with Amsterdam. In my opinion, it is a much better film, and it's got action and horror elements, and it's just got a better story, and it can play slow at times as well. But with this movie, I just found I was kind of sitting there, kind of like, it's a little bit of it's a bit of a boring movie, you know. But for what it is, I guess, I guess it is what it is, and I don't think I'd be watching this again for a while. I got this movie for a pretty decent price. But let's just talk about the Blu-ray here. This is the first time I saw this movie, so I don't know what the picture looked like on VHS or DVD, but the quality of the picture seemed really well. And this is put out by Blue Underground. This is a limited edition Blu-ray DVD combo pack, collector's edition, and it said this movie won the Grand Prix Festival Award in 1984, which I guess is a European one. But there's that artwork there, which I think is an original artwork, which is really nice. And if we pop it open, we get a booklet in there with, which is pretty thick actually. Some nice stuff, some photos and stuff of different artworks and whatnot. Then you got your Blu-ray disc here, and you have your DVD disc, which I'll just pull out here. And it's kind of neat how Blue Underground does that, where they have one disc over the other, the DVD slides underneath. And I thought originally like it would scratch it up, but it seems to protect the discs pretty well. And there's that artwork that you probably remember seeing on the VHS. And like I said, I never watched this movie on VHS or anything like that. But I've heard multiple people talking about how they remember, seeing that in the video stores. Commonly. So close that up here. As far as special features go, we get an audio commentary with the writer and director Dick Moss, and editor Hans van Dongen. Going up, interview with star Hub Staple, who is also, the lead guy, I forgot to mention in this, who is the mechanic, is also the lead character in Amsterdam. Long distance short film by Dick Moss, 2003, 4 minutes long. Dutch trailer, US trailer, poster and still gallery, bonus collectible booklet with new essay by writer and filmmaker Chris Alexander. So, that's that. I don't know what else more there is to say about that, It's a movie about a killer elevator. I can't really give it a thumbs up because it's just, like I said, it played slow. It had some good effects, but for the most part, it's not that memorable. If there's one thing that I would remember from this movie, it would be the chopping off of the head in the elevator scene. But Blue Underground does a really good job with their releases. So if you're a fan of this film, then I would recommend getting this. Because the picture quality looks good, you get those special features. And if you want to explore more of Dick Moss's films, don't let this turn you off, because I tell you, Amsterdam is a much better movie, and I don't think there's many people that would tell you that this is better than Amsterdam. Even though that's just my opinion, I think that it would be hard to disagree there, because Amsterdam just go check out Amsterdam. I highly recommend it. I'm sure you'll like it more than this. Anyways, I'm kind of rambling on now. That's 1983's, it's 83, right? Yep, The Lift, directed by Dick Moss. I guess that's all there is to say. Thank you for watching this review, and we will see you next time. Take the stairs. Take the stairs. For God's sake, take the stairs. Shh.